So in the last week or two, this little device was banned on Amazon, it was banned on eBay, and people are starting to talk about keeping it out of the country because this harmless little dolphin-themed electronic toy can be used to skim credit card data. Does that mean that you should worry that all of your financial data is at risk? Actually, no. You should go out and buy one of these as quickly as possible, and I'll tell you why. So this right here is the Flipper Zero, and what it is it's been called a hacker tool, and people want common sense hacker tool control. What this is more like an electronic multi-tool. It's used for a whole bunch of different things, including listening to RFID broadcasts and scanning NFC cards. And it's got a little doohickey here that lets it see and send infrared codes, so you can make it into a universal remote, turn TVs on and off and stuff like that. And then these little I/O pins right here let you plug almost anything in. And so there's a lot of stuff that you can do with this. You can program it to do different stuff. It has Bluetooth, USB, micro SD card. It is just like a development board, but in a little bit nicer, pocketable case. And that is, I think, why a lot of people are freaking out. Yes, it can scan the cards in your wallet and return some of the data, but so can a lot of different devices. The number of devices that actually do RFID and NFC stuff these days is through the roof. Nowadays, your smartwatch probably has pay capability. Your phone has Samsung Pay or Apple Pay or some way to store credit card data. The locks on the doors of the T.REX shop uses NFC cards to open them. This is extremely common technology, and having a device that lets you explore that is not a problem. It just makes people more aware of the technology that is available. Banning this doesn't actually stop people from committing crimes. There are card skimmers everywhere. In fact, there's probably card skimmers installed in an ATM or a gas station pump within 5 miles of where you are at this very moment. The device hasn't been out for a very long time, and there aren't really examples of people using it for nefarious activity. Yes, it is very easy to use this thing to open the charging ports of Teslas at a distance. But generally speaking, people are doing cool stuff with this. They're making this the test bed for their other electronics projects because it has a screen, inputs, outputs, battery, Bluetooth buttons, etc. And they're learning really interesting stuff. Taking this away doesn't improve anybody's security. It just takes away a tool that people were using for interesting stuff. It can do all kinds of fun things, including yes, it plays Doom. Okay, there's a guy, Oh, there he goes. Got him. Come on. Oh, got him. Okay. This is more of an educational tool than a hacking tool, which may actually kind of be the point. But the attitude toward rising financial and digital crime and cracking down on devices like this is very much like the attitude towards rising physical crime in the physical world and cracking down on physical defensive devices like this. We need common sense gun control, even though common sense tells me that having a firearm is the best way that I can protect myself in physical space. And common sense tells me that understanding what's going on with NFC cards and RFID chips and even my universal remote is something that's going to help me better understand and protect myself in the digital world. Removing this device from Amazon or from eBay doesn't close any of the security holes that already exist. It just makes me unable to explore those quite as easily. And that maybe is kind of the point, because there's a lot of other hacker tools that are available, readily available, and not banned from Amazon or eBay. This right here is the Hack RF board. It actually has hack in the name, and it's an incredibly capable RF SDR device. And when you put it inside of this little backpack here, you end up with something that is almost pocketable, and it can do a bunch of stuff. If you've watched some of our previous T.REX content, you've probably seen us spoof GPS signals using this thing. It can eavesdrop on airplane transponders. The number of things that you can do with this device that are nefarious are considerably more than this device. But this thing is not user-friendly. The learning curve is pretty steep. It's very, very finicky. This is more of a hobbyist device than the Flipper. The Flipper Zero feels like a polished, finished piece of consumer equipment with a really nice, easy-to-use interface that entices you to tinker with it and learn more stuff and become more educated in this particular space. I think that right there is the main reason that it's drawing attention, negative attention, from people that would rather we not know that stuff for some reason. Now, I'm a big fan of this device. I backed it on Kickstarter for a couple of reasons. Number one, I wanted this project to succeed on Kickstarter because I wanted devices like this to be more accessible. I wanted a device that was easier to use and mess around with so that people would learn more about this digital hacker space. I wanted that to exist because I thought that was a very important thing. But the second reason that I wanted this device was so that I could let my kids play with it. It isn't just that this is fun to play with, but I actually think that something like this that is really simple and easy to use and allows my kids to understand how stuff that they can't otherwise see, like RFID cards and NFC chips and universal remotes for televisions, being able to actually see how those things work and figure out the actual systems is something that I want them to do relatively early. And, you know, they can plug it into a computer, write a little bit of code, and make LED lights that are plugged into these little I/O pins. They could do a lot of stuff with this, and I'd far rather that they start out tinkering with computer stuff on a simple device like this that has a lot of capability than a complicated device like an iPad with not very much capability. And that is, I think, very worrisome to people, because what they would rather do is pursue safety. They would rather pursue safety at the cost of opportunity and options and really interesting understanding. And if it is true that we're going into a very, very dangerous world where state-level actors like Russia are hacking our elections and all of our financial data and stuff like that, wouldn't you want people to actually have the tools to learn about the various systems? Wouldn't you prefer that they actually be competent with some of the equipment of electronic warfare that's going to be waged against them? Or would you rather they be disarmed? I mean, this is a question that we ask about other devices in the physical security space all the time. And this conversation that says that because the world is dangerous and there are threats everywhere, the best thing that we could possibly do is disarm as many people as possible who don't break the law. Well, that's exactly the same argument that you're making with devices like this. If you wanted your citizenry to be a free people who understand the world around them and understand how to build the sorts of tools that they need in order to continue to be more productive and more safe, then, well, this would be the last device that you would want to ban. Well, maybe it's the second to last device that you would want to ban.